It started quietly with a cough that refused to disappear. At first, the doctors blamed dust, stress, or the unfamiliar weight of Proxima's gravity pressing on human lungs. But within days, the coughing spread through the colony, echoing inside the metal corridors of the habitats. Microscopic trace elements from the planet's atmosphere had slipped past the filters, too small to detect at first, too persistent to ignore once they settled deep in human lungs. They called it Proxima Lung. Breathing began to feel heavier, like lifting invisible stone with every inhale. Parents stayed awake at night, listening to their children breathe. Engineers dismantled life support systems piece by piece, searching for flaws. Scientists worked without sleep, running tests, analyzing blood samples, studying every variable. Outside, the red dwarf sun never blinked. Inside, fear quietly grew. Then something unexpected appeared in the data. The children born on Proxima were less affected. Their lungs were adapting. Their bodies were already changing to match the planet's chemistry.
Yes, doctor.
It was evolution happening in real time. A risky treatment was developed using modified native microbes, experimental, uncertain, but necessary. Slowly, symptoms eased. The coughing softened. Oxygen levels stabilized. The colony had survived its first true biological test. Proxima had not rejected them. It had challenged them. And once again, humanity adapted. The colony did not celebrate surviving Proxima Lung. They were too tired for celebration. But something had changed. For the first time, they understood the planet was alive, not hostile. Not welcoming, just alive, and they were no longer just visitors. In the weeks that followed, repairs turned into upgrades. Air filtration systems were redesigned from the ground up. Native mineral layers were added to reinforce shielding.
Agreed. Let's check the
Engineers
pH levels.
worked with biologists instead of against them.
The readings are stable.
Technology
Field
was no
projections are
longer
up.
purely
Confirmed.
Earth-made.
New strains are thriving.
It was
Let's
becoming
check the soil
Proxima-born.
pH here. Agreed.
The vertical farms grew taller. Layer by layer, crops stretched toward the dim red horizon. Modified wheat swayed under artificial light. Rice adapted to mineral-rich water. Legumes rooted deep into alien soil. For the first time, food production exceeded emergency reserves. That milestone mattered more than anyone admitted. Children ran through the lower biodome levels, laughing in lower gravity corridors, their footsteps stronger than their parents. They were different. Stronger bones, sharper night vision, faster reflexes under heavy gravity. Medical scans confirmed it. The next generation belonged here in ways their parents never fully would. That realization was beautiful and unsettling. Some colonists began to whisper about terraforming again. If they could thicken the atmosphere, if they could warm the dark side, if they could tame the radiation, they could make this world more like Earth. But others pushed back. Why reshape a planet already shaping them? Debates filled the assembly halls. Voices stayed respectful, but the tension was real. Were they pioneers or guests? Meanwhile, mining operations expanded beyond the twilight zone. Automated drills tapped into deep tectonic veins. There they discovered super-dense alloys resistant to radiation and extreme heat. The discovery changed everything. Structures became lighter, stronger, more permanent. The city skyline slowly rose against the red horizon. From orbit, the helianthus still circled like a silent guardian, a reminder of the journey, a reminder of Earth. Every 33 cycles, the colony held the twilight vigil. Bioluminescent plants glowed softly across the settlement. Families gathered at the edge of the light and the dark. They stood between two extremes, just like humanity always had. And in that endless sunset, they made a promise, not to conquer this world, but to grow with it. Far above, the stars of the Alpha Centauri system shimmered, unfamiliar, ancient, watching, and for the first time, Proxima Centauri B no longer felt like exile. It felt like home. The signal arrived without warning, a faint transmission buried in cosmic noise. At first, no one believed it was real. Communications officers replayed it again and again. The timestamp confirmed it. It was from Earth. 8.5 years had passed since their arrival. 4.24 years for their message to reach home. Another 4.24 for the reply to return. Time moved differently out here. The colony gathered inside the central dome. Silence filled the chamber. The recording began. A familiar blue planet appeared on the screen. Clouds drifting, oceans shimmering, Some colonists had never seen Earth with their own eyes. For them, it felt almost fictional. The message was simple. Earth was proud. Earth was struggling. Resources were tighter. Political priorities had shifted. And then came the part no one expected. A second ship had been launched decades after the Helianthus. It carried more supplies, more families, hope for expansion. But 40 years into its journey, contact was lost. No distress call, no debris, just silence. The Proxima program was officially terminated. No faster-than-light breakthrough had been discovered.
Something's coming through.
No rescue mission was coming. The transmission ended with a quiet apology. The screen went dark.
Confirmed.
No one spoke for a long time. Some felt abandoned. Others felt relieved. There would be no shadow of comparison. No backup civilization arriving to take control. This was truly theirs now. That night, many colonists walked to the edge of the twilight zone. They looked toward the dark side of the planet. The stars felt closer than Earth ever had. For the first time, the weight of distance fully settled in their bones. They were alone. Not lost, but alone. The next morning, something shifted. Work resumed with a new intensity. If no one was coming, then everything depended on them. Expansion plans accelerated. Energy grids were doubled. Deep drilling increased. Research into native pharmaceuticals intensified. The Helianthus was partially converted into a permanent orbital station. Some even suggested dismantling parts of it for materials. A bold idea, almost unthinkable. The ship was sacred, but survival required sacrifice. Ava, now older, stood beneath the red horizon that evening. She had never touched Earth soil, never breathed its air. Proxima was not a mission to her. It was simply home. And as the red sun hovered low, unmoving in the sky, the first generation truly born of this world quietly stepped forward to lead. The launch of the Proxima C vessel changed the colony in ways no one expected. For years they had focused on survival, food, air, shelter, radiation shielding. Now their eyes were lifting again. Helianthus, once a symbol of escape, had become a monument of arrival. Parts of its outer ring were carefully dismantled. The metal was repurposed into orbital habitats. Nothing was wasted. Down on the surface, expansion accelerated. New districts formed beyond the original Twilight settlement. Transport rails stretched across the rocky plains. Wind turbines were anchored along the temperature divide, harvesting the endless atmospheric currents. The artificial lake project finally succeeded. Ice transported from the dark side melted into a shimmering basin. For the first time, open water reflected the red dwarf sun. Children gathered near its edge. They had never seen a natural horizon ripple before. The terraform debate softened over time. Not because it was resolved, but because reality reshaped it. The planet was already changing them faster than they could change it. Medical data confirmed a new baseline for Proxima-born adults, higher muscle density, improved oxygen efficiency, enhanced night-adjusted vision. They were not becoming alien, but they were no longer purely earthbound either. Cultural shifts followed biological ones. The colony calendar no longer referenced Earth months. Life revolved around the 11-day orbital cycle. Celebrations marked every 100 cycles. The Twilight Vigil became more than ceremony. It became identity. Standing between permanent light and permanent darkness defined them. Years passed. The population crossed 8,000. Then 10. Vertical farming towers transformed into living ecosystems. Each level mimicked a different biome, controlled humidity, engineered rainfall. Microbial soil blends unique to Proxima. Native algae became a dietary staple. Pharmaceutical labs refined compounds unknown to Earth science. The city skyline glowed softly under bioluminescent gardens. At night, many colonists traveled to the dark side to stargaze. Without atmospheric pollution, the stars burned with impossible clarity. Earth was just another faint point now, farther away than memory sometimes allowed. Ava, now an adult, often stood at the boundary ridge. She felt the stronger gravity not as weight, but as grounding. Her parents still dreamed of oceans and blue skies. She dreamed of volcanic ridges and red horizons. When the first long-range transmission from the Proxima vessel finally arrived years later, the colony gathered again. Data streamed in. Ice deposits confirmed. Strange magnetic anomalies detected. Possibilities expanding outward. The cheer that followed was different from the first landing celebration. It was steadier, more confident. They were no longer proving they could survive. They were proving they could endure. And maybe one day, they would send their own generation ship outward, not fleeing a dying world, but extending a living one under a sun that never set. Between fire and ice, humanity had found balance, not by conquering the planet, but by growing alongside it. And in that endless twilight, a new civilization quietly took root, stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever the stars would ask next. No one remembers the exact moment Proxima stopped feeling temporary. It didn't happen in a speech, or a ceremony, or a vote. It happened quietly, in the way children stopped asking about Earth, in the way farmers trusted alien soil without fear, in the way engineers built structures meant to last centuries. Helianthus still orbits above, older now, partially dismantled, but never forgotten. Its hull carries the fingerprints of 7 generations. It is no longer a ship of escape. It is a monument to courage. The red dwarf sun hangs low as always, unmoving, patient. Storm winds still roar between the burning dayside and the frozen night. Volcanoes still glow along distant ridges. The planet still tests them, but the colony no longer flinches. Because this world has shaped them, bone and muscle strengthened by gravity, eyes sharpened for dim horizons, minds trained to solve problems without waiting for rescue. They are no longer visitors from Earth. They are citizens of Proxima. When newcomers are born now, they do not arrive under stories of a distant blue sky. They arrive under red light, and that red light feels normal. The twilight vigil continues every year. Families gather between light and shadow. Bioluminescent trees shimmer softly. They stand on the seam of two extremes, and they understand something their ancestors once feared. Balance is not found in comfort. It is forged in contrast. Some still speak of terraforming. Others speak of deeper adaptation. The debate remains alive, and that debate is proof of something powerful. They are thinking long-term, generationally. That is what civilizations do. Far above, the exploration vessel continues its journey through the Alpha Centauri system. Data returns slowly, but steadily. There are more places to reach, more questions to answer. Humanity did not cross 4 light years to stop at one horizon. One day, perhaps decades from now, a new ship will rise from Proxima's surface, not built on desperation, but built on experience. It will carry children who have never touched Earth's soil, who have never seen a blue ocean, and they will not feel like they are leaving home. They will feel like they are extending it. Because home is no longer a single planet. Home is wherever humanity learns to endure, wherever it chooses to grow instead of surrender. Under an alien sun that never sets, between fire and ice, a small city glows in the twilight, breathing, building, becoming. And in the vast silence between the stars, humanity is no longer searching for survival. It is writing its second beginning.
Whoa, look at that! Wow, it's getting brighter! Let's go see!